Bill Maher brutally criticized Robert De Niro and explained why he has a big conflict with him. According to Maher, Hollywood actors, including people like De Niro, are destroying America. And that's why Maher brought facts and asked a question to De Niro that caught him off guard and humiliated him. According to Maher, this unhealthy woke attitude from Hollywood actors toward Trump and Trump supporters is getting out of control. Because if you hate half of the country and attack them, you will lose. So let's explain everything. So 2 days ago, Bill Maher expressed his confusion on X and tweeted that he was bewildered by De Niro's manipulation of facts. Maher humiliated actor Robert De Niro after De Niro compared former President Trump to dictators Adolf Hitler and Benito Mussolini. As you know, De Niro, in a clip from MSNBC's 11th Hour with Stephanie Ruhle, said that Trump is a monster and a terrible human being that no one likes. But when De Niro said the same words during the conversation with Bill Maher, Maher stated simple facts and asked a question to Robert De Niro that he didn't expect. Maher asked calmly, "So why is Trump winning elections?" "It's a fact. So what do you think is causing that?" De Niro blinked, looked lost. For a few seconds, he said nothing on live TV. And that silence, that moment, felt louder than anything he'd said all night. Then finally he muttered, I don't know." So they continued talking, and De Niro stated that anyone who votes for Trump, he does not understand them. De Niro said, "We've forgotten the lessons of history that showed us other clowns who weren't taken seriously until they became vicious dictators." Then De Niro talked about Trump supporters and said, "They have different values. That's disturbing to me. I don't understand it, but I just have to look at things in an optimistic way." Then, during different conversation, Maher responded to this narrative on his own show called Club Random Podcasts. He denounced Hollywood actors criticizing and hating half of the country, people who supported Trump. Maher said, "You cannot like Trump, you can hate him, but you can't hate everybody that voted for him. I don't want to hate half the country. That's not where my mind wants to go for my mental health. I will talk to anybody. It's an honor to be invited to the White House under any circumstances." And this conflict between Maher and Hollywood actors, including De Niro, is not new because everything started 3 years ago. That's when, in 2022, Maher criticized the wokeness of Hollywood actors while talking with Shapiro. He explained that at first he supported what seemed like a push for fairness and kindness. But later he realized the movement had a different agenda. "Woke has become kind of a joke," Maher said. "I only started hearing that word a few years ago, and it meant something like being aware of injustice, which I agreed with. But then it started to include a lot of silly ideas, and that's what I keep speaking out against," he added. "That's why Fox News shows my clips now." Shapiro asked how he felt about being shown on a channel that usually disagrees with his politics. "I haven't changed at all," Maher replied. "My political views are the same. It's the world that's changed." He gave an example. 5 years ago, no one was saying defund the police. That's not me changing. That's the culture changing, and I'm just responding to it. Also, Bill Maher has voiced criticism toward Hollywood figures who exhibit hostility towards President Donald Trump and his supporters, arguing that such behavior is excessive and counterproductive. In a September 2024 episode of Real Time, Maher defended actress Cheryl Hines, who faced backlash for not publicly denouncing her husband, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., after he endorsed Trump. Maher condemned the attacks on Hines, labeling her critics as obnoxious posers and highlighting a growing ugliness within the left. He emphasized that expecting a spouse to publicly oppose their partner's political decisions is unreasonable and indicative of a troubling trend among liberals. Then later in 2024, before the elections, on Max's Who's Talking to Chris Wallace, Robert De Niro, who strongly supported Kamala Harris's campaign, said Trump and his supporters aren't real Republicans. When Wallace asked if De Niro had ever met Trump back in the 1970s or 1980s in New York, and if there was any personal issue between them, De Niro said, "No, I never wanted anything to do with him. He's a jerk and an idiot. Who would want to meet a clown like that?" De Niro went on to say that leaders should care about everyone, even if some people get overlooked. He believes Kamala Harris understands the struggles of the country and means well. "She'll make mistakes, everyone does, but at least her heart is in the right place. Trump's isn't. Everyone knows it. It's just madness. That's all there is to it." Then in June 2024, while speaking outside Trump's hush money trial, De Niro called him a tyrant and warned about what could happen if he won another term. And after Trump won elections in 2024, Maher responded to this hate of Trump by exposing these Hollywood actors. Maher said that with Trump about to start his second term as president, he's not going to hate on him ahead of time. In a CNN interview, Maher said he'll stay hopeful, and if anything serious happens, he'll talk about it then. "I'm not going to chase every rabbit down the hole like I did the first term," Maher said on CNN's The Lead. "He's a kooky guy who says a lot of kooky things, and I'm just not going to pre-hate anything. I'm just going to hope for the best, and then when something serious happens, I'll comment on that," he told anchor Jake Tapper. After the elections in 2024, Bill Maher criticized the Democrats and Hollywood actors, saying they lost the presidency in both houses of Congress, partly because their ideas went against common sense. Maher said he'll keep doing weekly monologues on his HBO show, Real Time, where he'll talk about Trump's recent ideas, like buying Greenland or making Canada the 51st state. "That kind of stuff is great for comedy, but I'm not going to treat it seriously," he told CNN. Maher also repeated his view that President Biden is too old to be president and should have stepped down earlier so Democrats could have a more open race at their convention. He said he felt he had the right to speak out because he's always stood against age discrimination. "I've said for years that ageism is the last type of prejudice people still accept in this country," Maher explained. He added, "People age differently. Some 70-year-olds act really old, others seem young. But in Biden's case, I think he really is too old for the job." In 2025, Robert De Niro said he isn't feeling hopeless about Trump's second term as president because he believes things will eventually fix themselves. The 81-year-old Oscar winner has spoken out against Trump many times and even argued with Trump's supporters during his trial last year. Recently, De Niro called Trump a jerk, clown, and idiot. But in a new interview with The Guardian, De Niro was surprisingly calm when asked how he feels about Trump being back in office. "I'm not despairing," he said, "because I always look at the bright side and hope that things will right themselves and that people will appreciate goodness and empathy and will try to do the right thing." The interviewer, Zan Brooks, mentioned that Netflix had strict rules for the interview, no personal or political questions, likely because it was tied to promoting De Niro's new political thriller Zero Day. That may be why De Niro held back from saying more about Trump. And Maher responded to this hate of Trump on Club Random Podcast during the conversation with Andrew Schulz. Maher said that this hate from Hollywood actors towards Trump supporters, towards the half of the country, millions of people, is very wrong, and everyone who does that will lose. Maher said, "I'm not playing this game you mean girls play. You can't sit at my lunch table. I'm not talking to you. You have to respect. The guy did win. It is more than half the country. I keep saying I'm not going to hate." So many times already, Bill Maher has voiced criticism toward Hollywood figures for being too woke, for hating Trump supporters, and for even not tolerating their relatives because of Trump. And according to Maher, this is getting out of control. Maher has criticized liberals who sever family ties over political differences, particularly during the holiday season. He expressed disdain for those who cut off relatives supporting Trump, stating, "This is what I hate about the left." Maher argued that such actions hinder national healing and reflect an intolerance that he finds increasingly prevalent among liberals. He urged for understanding and dialogue, asserting that dismissing or ostracizing individuals based on their political affiliations is detrimental to societal cohesion. And that's it for today.